The Chicago Bears, as of right now, are the number one seed in the NFC. Yes, you heard that right. They're the number one seed in the NFC after their win over the Eagles and then the Panthers' upset of the Rams. The Chicago Bears now move forward into the top seed of the NFC. We're going to talk about how the Chicago Bears own their own playoff destiny, or actually predict their last 5 games, and discuss why Monangai is standing out amongst a deep class of running backs. We'll talk about all that and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. I'm the host there, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Chi Bears Central on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go ahead and get into this content today, y'all. The Chicago Bears are now the number one seed in the NFC. Yeah, they're the number one seed. This is major, and thanks to the Carolina Panthers, who just keep paying off for the Chicago Bears. First, you give us DJ Moore in a trade for the number one overall pick. You then give us the number one overall pick, again, which turns into Caleb Williams, and now we get the number one seed because of the Carolina Panthers. The Bears now are 9-3, and while we are at 9-3, tied technically record-wise with the Los Angeles Rams, it's the fact that the Bears have a better NFC record and division record that puts us at the number one seed. This is the first time that the Bears have held the number one seed, this late in the season since 2006. And that was a year we went to the Super Bowl. So there's still 5 games to go in the season as well. So you got to look at that part of it. But with that said, this is major. And I think overall with that is that the Bears now find themselves in a place where they truly control their own destiny. When you look at the NFC playoff picture, with things standing right now, the Philadelphia Eagles and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the 2 teams behind us and the Rams. They lead the NFC North and South divisions, of course, respectively. The Seattle Seahawks are the top wild card team, followed by the Green Bay Packers and San Francisco 49ers. So that's how things are shaking out right now in the NFC. And the Bears do control a lot of their own playoff destiny heading into the final 5 games of the season. The Bears are going to play the Packers twice. We do play the Detroit Lions once as well. We play the Cleveland Browns and the San Francisco 49ers to close out the season. So when you look at how many of those games are going to have implications because of them being NFC games, right there as well. And so, outside of the Browns game. So this is a stretch here for the Chicago Bears to really create some more separation because the in-division, record is the thing that matters. In tiebreakers, the Bears have an opportunity to push that even a little bit further against the Rams. And so the Bears are going to have to come in here and they're going to have to take care of business. And, that first matchup that they have coming up is against the Green Bay Packers. This is going to be an emotional week. This is FGB week, by the way. So you're going to see FGB on everything going forward at some point in this one. But the Bears, we have an edge over the Packers right now. Because of the Packers tying with the Cowboys in week 4, right? That's what's giving the Bears a little bit of edge in as far as the record-wise in this game, right? And the Bears, who have been leaning on their running game as the season goes on and it's turned into much more of a weapon, that dual-headed threat with Monangai and DeAndre Swift has sure looked legit over the past couple of weeks, has it not, right? And so that's what the Bears are going to have to. The Packers are allowing 100 yards per game on the ground, so the Bears are going to have to come in and try to take advantage of that, right? The Bears, the Packers' pass defense as well has been excellent, only allowing 186.5 yards per game. So, just looking early on into this matchup, how the Bears move the ball on offense is going to be the big thing in this game. And the Bears are going to have to figure that out. This is going to be a game where there's going to be several frustrating drive stalls at some point probably for the Chicago Bears. How do they react to that, right? How does Ben Johnson counteract that? The game plan is going to be a big part in this as well, as is Caleb Williams' accuracy, right? Even with Caleb Williams and the accuracy issues at times, because the Bears have started finding success on the ground, which is something that Steve-O and Bobby and everybody had been calling for a while, right? It means that, it's giving the Bears an added opportunity to just find their balance, but you're not going to steamroll the Packers, right? I get it. They're the cheeseheads. We hate them, our rivals, all that type of stuff. but I'm not going to act like the Bears are going to come in here and just absolutely run over them. Matt LaFleur, has had the Bears number. Now, it's a difference between Matt LaFleur and going up against Matt Eberflus and LaFleur going up against Ben Johnson, right? And so the Packers defense, though, is going to come into this game and they are going to be prepared for what the Bears are going to try to do. They're gonna really try to force Caleb Williams to beat them, which means they're going to try to snuff out the run game. They're going to try to slow that down to make us more of a one-dimensional team. And then they're going to force Caleb Williams to try to make plays with his arms, and they're going to try to get in there with Micah Parsons, and they're going to try to beat Caleb Williams up and get sacks as well, right? So that's going to be the thing that coming into this game, the Bears offense is going to have to be really, really prepared for, is what this Packers defense is going to try to do. Now, I say try because it's the Bears offensive staff, it's the execution, it's the offensive line, it's the run game, it's everything of making sure that they don't do that. The Packers have got to come in here and they're going to have to put in work. But this is going to be one of those old school Packers Bears games. That's what this is going to be. And this is going to be a game where everybody's going to be tough. Everybody's going to be roughed up after this one. And there are going to be some dirty ass jerseys in this game. And I wouldn't have it any other way. The Bears did not record a single sack against the Eagles in week 13 or against the Steelers in week 12, right? But with that said, the Bears only allowed Caleb Williams to be sacked twice against the Eagles overall. So Ben Johnson, when you look at the attack and the quarterback part of it, the Bears are going to have their job cut out for him. Montez Sweat, who's put together a nice stretch of a few games as well, even though he didn't have a sack in the last game. That's going to be a thing where the Bears are going to have to, be prepared for this one. And we're going to have to try to get we're going to have to try to put Jordan Love on his ass. This is a team in the Green Bay Packers where Jordan Love definitely makes mistakes, as does Caleb Williams, right? Jordan Love does make mistakes. The question is how the Bears secondary is going to take advantage of those mistakes that Jordan Love does make. And now with having, Jalen Johnson got a game, under his legs in the last game. Kyler Gordon got a game under the legs. We're going to need them even more in this one because if the Bears can force those turnovers against these cheeseheads and against the Green Bay Packers, that's what's going to make a determination a big factor in this game. And so taking care of field position on both sides of the ball, you have to get into third and short as best as you can. Trust your run game. That run game is going to have to be consistent against this Packers team because they are going to try to take that run game away. That is what they're going to try to do, and they're going to try to make the Bears one-dimensional. And not to say that we haven't had big games from Caleb. I came into last game against the Eagles, and I wanted to see a big game from Caleb. We didn't get that one. But I tell you what, if you can get that this season this game against this week against the Green Bay Packers, all is forgiven. Whether right or wrong. I want to be clear here. This is whether right or wrong, but this is me acknowledging that this is a thing in the Bears community. If you can't beat the Green Bay Packers, there's always going to be a segment of the Bears fans that no matter how good you are throughout the rest of the season or whatever you do, they're going to doubt you. And not to say that should really matter to Ben Johnson or Caleb Williams as much. Go out there and try to win football games. I said a lot last year. You don't even need to beat the Green Bay Packers to technically win the division. You don't have to do that. But when you look at the Packers and how they've basically owned this one, we got the win in the last game last season against them, which was great, and I guess a moral victory. There are some Bears fans that this matchup, how you perform as a Bears quarterback, as a head coach against the Packers, is going to be a huge part into how much they believe in you or not. Again, right or wrong, that's just a part that comes with being a head coach and a quarterback of the Chicago Bears. There's a Bears segment of the community that is going to look at it that way. And then it just comes now, you have to ask yourself, are Caleb and Ben going to be able to get a win on the road against the Green Bay Packers in Ben Johnson's first game against the Packers? As far as the head coach of the Bears, and we'll have to see that. And that's going to, eventually we're going to about to predict the rest of the season for the Bears, but I just want to be keying on this matchup. The Bears, for the first time in a while, truly do own their own destiny. Not just because they're the 1 seed, but because of how they've played and performed over the course of this season. We're facing off against the dreaded Packers. This is a game that people have circled on their calendar. They look at these matchups, and this is a key part in how people are going to view you. The Bears need to come in here and take care of business. That's on the offense. That's on the defense. Talked a lot about the offense because that's a lot of the things that people are going to look at. But the defense, and Dennis Allen, you called such a good game. Hopefully you're getting some of your linebackers back as well for this game also. Let's go out there and see what you can scheme. Let's go out there and see what you can do because for a lot of Bears fans, this is their Super Bowl. This is their Super Bowl. Going into Lambeau and trying to steal a win from the Packers is their Super Bowl, and I would love nothing more than the Bears to come out of that and win that game. With that said, that brings us into our next topic. I want to look at this Bears' final 5 games over the season, and I want to try to predict their final record. Now, if you guys remember, when I did my preseason predictions and record, I think I picked the Bears to finish with 12 wins. 12 wins. And now we sit at 9-3 on the season, already securing a winning season as far as record-wise, right? But this is a game that's going to be massive for the Chicago Bears, this first game up in Week 14 against the Packers. This is massive, right? We split the series with the Packers last season, and that was great. Santos made a game-winning field goal in the final week of the 2024 season that gave us that win. Well, that was great, and it was cool. The Bears have improved as a team substantially since that game, and we are in a much different place coaching-wise, staff-wise, and execution-wise, right? But winning a game on the road against the Green Bay Packers is extremely difficult. And it pains me to say this. I want to be clear here. I do think the Bears fall just short in this game. You look at the Bears in the winning streak, at some point, and this is maybe more of a superstition thing for me as well. I don't want my team being on an 8-game winning streak going into the playoffs, because eventually you're going to lose a game. And I think for some to get that loss out the way is going to clear the way for the Bears to play much more solid and finish the season strong and maybe even get a playoff win this year. So because of that, I'm going to say this right now. I do have the Bears breaking their current 5-game winning streak and losing this first game against the Green Bay Packers. I think it's going to be close, but I think it's going to be on the road. And I think you're going to see some of those demons that the Bears have played with maybe catch up with them in this game. But I'm going to tell y'all what, let's bury the lead. I got the Bears winning out after that. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I got the Bears beating the Cleveland Browns in Week 5. And the Bears always make a game close, so I can't even say they're going to come in and wax them or anything like that. But, of course, rookie Shedeur Sanders is going to be starting by then. It's up for the Chicago Bears defensive line to put him in some compromising positions. And against that Cleveland Browns team, you got them. Myles Garrett already has 19 sacks. He's 3.5 sacks away from breaking Michael Strahan's record. Do not let what the Browns did against Justin Fields a few years ago happen again this one. If the Bears can avoid Myles Garrett completely blowing up their offensive game plan, the Bears are going to get a win here against the Cleveland Browns. They're going to be at 10-4 after that week. Then, against the Green Bay Packers in Week 16 at home in Chicago, the Bears ain't losing against the damn Cheeseheads in Chicago. We're not going to do it. I have the Bears absolutely revenging their loss in Week 14. They get this win in Week 16 against the Green Bay Packers. They win this game. They win the division with this win as well. They got to win over the Lions, but they secure their division crown in this game, second game against the Green Bay Packers. And I tell you what, though, if I'm wrong and the Bears can win both games against the Packers, the NFC North is ours. But I got the Bears absolutely winning the second game against the Green Bay Packers. Then the San Francisco 49ers in Week 17. This is weird because the 49ers are a interesting team, right? The Chicago Bears taking on the Niners in Week 17. They're 9-4 on the season, or the Niners, and they're the third in the NFC West despite their 9-4 record. You look at Brock Purdy. He's playing pretty good. He's having a Purdy season. That's perfectly fine, right? But you look at what the Bears have in Kyle Monangai, DeAndre Swift, Caleb Williams, and what they can take advantage of. And try to take advantage of this tough defensive team. I do think this is going to be a low-scoring game overall, but I also have the Bears defeating the 49ers in Week 17. Again, the Bears now moved to 12-4 on the season. Then, the season finale, the Bears against the Detroit Lions. Ben Johnson getting to avenge his early season loss to his former team. Can the Bears come in here and take care of business? Now, you look at the Bears have won 9 out of their last 10 games. And part of that is that we got blown out against Detroit, allowing 52 points in that game. This is going to be a game where Ben Johnson is going to be motivated. He's learned a lot from the start of the season as a head coach, how the ebb and flows goes. We're going to be even healthier with our defense and stuff by then, right? I think that the Bears get a win here to finish the season. Ben Johnson is going to get a cathartic win against the Detroit Lions in Chicago in Week 18 in the regular season, and the Chicago Bears are going to end the season at 13-4 on the season. That's what I have peg to go on. And of course, if I'm wrong and they can sweep the Packers, they can sweep these last few games, but then I'll be a little bit worried about them going into the playoffs with that type of run. But overall, I do think the Bears are going to finish this season with 13. You know what? I'm not going to throw out caveats. 13 wins for the Chicago Bears this season. 13 wins. They're going to go 13-4 in the season, and it's going to go a long way in silencing a lot of doubt, and then allows the Bears to really focus on what they need to do to get to the next step in this offseason, regardless of whatever happens in the playoffs. That's my thought process. That's what I think will happen, and I guess we shall see. Pains me to pick, because I definitely wasn't going to pick the Bears to lose against the Cleveland Browns. I just wasn't going to do that. So you had to get a loss somewhere in there. I think you're gonna take a step back at one point to kind of reassess, and then they're going to use that, much like they used their loss in week 2. The Bears are going to use that to really kind of rebound, focus in, lock in, and they're going to perform really well over the last stretch of the season. But let me know what you guys think down below. I would love to hear your final predictions for the Chicago Bears record right now with 5 games left. Where do you have the Bears record finishing, and do you think they will win the NFC North this year? Let me know what you guys think on that down below. With that said, let's go ahead and let's talk about the last topic today, and that's Monangai. Monangai, who the Bears drafted in the 7th round last year. After missing out on a number of running backs, Marion Hampton, amongst some of them, the Bears just missed on some of the running backs that we all wanted and stuff like that, and that's perfectly fine. Monangai had 22 carries for 130 yards and 1 touchdown, giving him a score in 4 straight weeks. Monangai also made him the only rookie running back to post 100 or more rushing yards in multiple games so far this season. Monangai is right there with Ashton Jeanty as far as production this season. Now, one has an offensive line, one doesn't, so there's that part in it for sure. But when you look at how Monangai has performed this season after really earning that trust of Ben Johnson and how he's come along, this goes to show you why sometimes it's not always about the name. It's about the talent that you get there, right? Monangai has 591 yards and 5 touchdowns on the season so far. He's averaging 4.9 yards per carry, which is really good. No fumbles, nothing like that from Monangai. He's having himself a hell of a game for the Chicago Bears. And for what it's worth, he's played in all 12 games so far this season. Some of those games he wasn't utilized very in. The running game wasn't utilized in a lot. But you look at the Bears' rushing attack so far. They have 1,846 yards as a team with 5 games left. And when you have the type of games that the Bears have coming up on their schedule, to where I think the running game is going to be a big part of that, we can easily see both DeAndre Swift and Monangai flirting with both getting to 1,000 yards this season. Now, it would take Monangai he would need 409 yards over the next 5 games, which I tell you what, with the way that we've been running the ball, isn't necessarily completely out of the question, but we'll see, right? Monangai can definitely get there. DeAndre Swift is only 226, I think, yards away from 1,000. So DeAndre Swift's probably getting there. Can Monangai get there as well? We shall see. But what Monangai has done as a rookie has been great. And I think that, as much as we have doubts about what Ryan Poles does and how aggressive he is sometimes in the draft, because we all had our guys that we wanted to see the Bears go after in that one. But this has been a loaded running back class. And the Chicago Bears seem to have found the steal amongst that class, considering the fact that they drafted him in the 7th round. Now, we've talked about why that happened. We talked about the fact that Monangai probably should have been drafted higher than what he was, but thank God he was not, because that now put him with the Bears, and he's forming this duo in this running back room that I think is really going to be a reason why the Bears are going to be a threat to really finish this season very strong on a winning streak and be able to win some of these more tougher matchups coming up. It's about this. Darius has said it for a long time. Steve-O has said it for a long time. It does come down to we should be a run-first team. We should be a team that our backbone is our running game, and we've really seen the Bears develop that over the last few weeks, and it coincides with the Bears' offense being even better than what it was and more dynamic than what it was. So all those things going, man, I feel like it's really good overall, and Monangai deserves his flowers. Just like Ben Johnson, just like Caleb Williams, just like everybody. Monangai deserves his flowers, and what this running game has turned into has been an absolute weapon for this Bears team, and we're going to need even more. Winter's coming. It's going to get cold. It's going to get windy, and as that happens, you need to rely on your running game even more. I know there's a lot of indoor stadiums in the league, but you're going to need that. And even if it wasn't for the weather, you still need a solid run game. and this Kyle Monangai, DeAndre Swift backfield, I'm really excited about how they can finish the season and see them get more and more opportunities as this season goes on. But that is my time for today, y'all. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. As always, the Bears are number one in the NFC North, man. Yeah, it's crazy right now, but the challenge just starts now, right? Division games, playoff expectations, and legacy-defining moments are what hopefully is coming up and ahead for the Chicago Bears, and we're going to get to cover them all here at Chicago Bears Central. So make sure you guys stay in tune with us. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. If you're not subscribed, you can follow us at Chi Bears Central. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, chicagobearscentral@gmail.com. And lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-242-9336. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. But that is thanks to you, lovely and beautiful people. And like I like to end every episode on, Chi-Town up, but Bear down. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.